What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it. We're in a situation where we're going to continue the story from the Cormega incident with AZ and Nas, and people tried to say Cormega was jealous. We did that in part one. Now, with this whole fallout, Mega took Foxy away from the circle, basically, and she wasn't really dealing with the firm and Nas and them like that. She started moving more towards the Jay Z side of the things, and hanging out with Jay and not really dealing with Nas. So, Foxy was out the picture, and then as the years went on, after that Firm album didn't do what they thought it was gonna do, and Mega was out there doing what he was doing, even though he didn't have the commercial success with all the people and the things going against him. He had the vindication of knowing that he was missed on the album. Now, the original plan that they had was Mega was going to do his independent deal. Steve Stout was going to have control of that and try to make it a Tone and Poke affair, but they didn't want to tone. He didn't want his album Tone and Poked Out. And that was definitely not going to ride with him. They weren't going to let Tone and Poke just EP the entire album. So, going into the process, AZ, who signed a production deal, Foxy had him do the project, they were going to oversee, the deal, but AZ had other things dealing with his old contract to get done, but Steve Stout was going to work on AZ stuff and get him out, and they did. But when you're dealing with different record companies and they have certain things that they want to pay for, and when the Firm album didn't do what they thought it was going to do, a lot of people pulled out. So AZ Pieces of a Man just kind of sat there. But the song with him and Nas didn't even get promoted. The How You Living song. It was just out there with no promotion, no nothing. So on the strength of that album, they were supposed to come out with a joint album. And what Nas was going to do, put out a double CD. That was going to be his double CD. It was going to be I Am and then Nostradamus. They were both going to come out in the same year. He was going to make a double CD at one time, but it was like, nah, just put one out one half of the year, and the next half we'll put out right at midnight or right before the year is out, we'll put out the Nostradamus for the second part of the year. We'll just split it into two. That way, you got your album going. You getting out your album deal, your contract, and you can just wipe that all out. You can make enough songs. So Nas wanted the content to be different from one album to the other. But early in the process, the album was tremendously leaked, sabotaged, whatever you want to call it. And all of the great songs that was on there ended up getting left off because it ended up on mixtapes. Everybody had the songs, and it was heavily bootleg. So spinning up already, they almost over budget. They had to come up with something quick. So on the fly, they went in the studio and started recording new songs to put on the I Am album. But before the I Am album even came out, the Nas and AZ had talked about it because AZ was like, look, man, people still want to see us do something together, like not just a song. And Nas was kind of turned off from it from the Firm album. He really wasn't gonna see a lot of like no interest in really doing an album with a full album with AZ. He was like, man, a couple songs, but full album, yeah, that's something we could talk about. Yeah, it could be cool. down the road. That's all. So that's all he was thinking about. That was his level. That was his idea. Like AZ wanted to see it because not because he need Nas to blow. AZ wasn't thinking that. He's thinking this is what the hood want. Like everybody want this. This will be huge. Like you don't get it. Like what? Why won't you do this? Like you should be all in for something like this. But Nas is thinking the firm didn't work, so the Escobar Sosa album was put on hold yet again. So everybody's like, man, this sucks, man. When we getting that AZ album? And he was like, we talking about it. We might do it still. Nas is just keeping that entertained, but he still didn't want to do records with AZ. It was like that wasn't what he wanted to do. So when he went ahead and did his I Am album, he did his Nostradamus, AZ was still working, doing his thing. They would see each other, and they kept it brotherly, but Nas was like in a whole different realm at that time. And he fell out with Steve Stout. He was real angry with Steve Stout. He had went over there to Jay-Z and did what he was doing. So Steve Stout, he wasn't dealing with him no more. And once that Steve Stout thing was gone and it was just Nas doing his own thing, and he was like, man, Nas just scared of success. He don't want to be a star. He don't want to be a star. Because he told him, like, look, like you dealing with these people too much, and for one, Steve Stout is the reason AZ wasn't on I Am or Nostradamus. You can't hold on to everybody. You gotta move forward, Nas. You don't need to do this. So when he did Stillmatic, he wanted to have a joint with Sosa on it. He was like, I gotta have a song on it. So when they did the flyers and everything, people was just like, oh wow, because that song didn't have AZ on it. They went back. Nas vocals is on there with the Bravehearts. The Bravehearts vocals way too violent for that song. So AZ ended up coming in there in the studio and jumping on it and getting in on it. And that was the time where Jay needed soldiers because Mega was over there helping Jay. Jay was basically cutting a check for for Cormega to give him all the information he could on Nas, and it was coming in voluntarily. But he was like, you got to be cool with Prodigy. But Nas, F Nas. It was very much a lot of animosity in that situation. But that was back then. Now it's a whole different situation, a whole different world. You know what I'm saying? So everything's like topsy turvy. The situation came back around. Jay and Nas is cool. He had got back with Steve Stout. So all the stuff with Sosa again was put on hold after Nas was entertaining it after the flyers came out. And he was like, oh, this is what we need to do. The Escobar Sosa thing. It was back in the works. It was going to be on Ill Will Records. It was back in full swing. Like, we going to do this. We're going to put the Braveheart album out. Then we're going to come with that Nas. And then Steve Stout comes in. Then he executive produced the Godson album. Stout was back. And everybody was, no, no, no. Why is he back? We don't need him back. So at this point, fans have took it upon themselves to make their own Nas and AZ mixtape. They got Esco Sosa tape. And a lot of different things started to happen once again because Nas went in another direction. Once again, he made another move. And that's when AZ was a little salty, man. Like, man, you know what? Forget it, man. You know, like I'm done trying to, like make this right. You know, like let's do this album. If it come around, it come around. But I don't want to do this no more. You know, like I don't feel like I want to keep chasing somebody to do something. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it went down. Now, when you start looking at, sorry about that, I had to burp. When you start looking at who's gonna do what, productions, and all of these different things, you start thinking to yourself, like, man, like, who can we get to do that album if it ever took place? It's like, oh, well, we can get such and such. He was good. We can get him. He was good. He was all right. Oh, we should get such and such. But didn't work out that way. But what did it for AZ and make him throw his hands up in the air was in 2010 when Distant Relatives came out and he did a full album with Damian Marley. That pissed AZ off. It did. I mean, it wouldn't make him mad like but it hurt him. It hurt him a little bit. That hurt him because he couldn't believe it. He was like, "What? Nah." Just he thought it was when he first heard it. He thought they did a couple songs. Somebody made a mixtape, but there's no way Nas did a whole album with Damian Marley. And yeah, it was true. He did a whole album with Damian Marley. And when he did that joint album, AZ just gave up on the idea. Like, man, if he wants to do it, like he got to make the move now, because you ain't gonna do one with your man, but you gonna do one with Damian Marley. And he's like, this would be huge. I mean, it's not like AZ ain't somebody the public don't know. Like, you gotta sell him. Like, people been waiting on that. It would be huge. So that's it. So that's if you want to know the whole rundown, that's it. That's the whole rundown. It's your boy Carcino, man. I'm out. Don't forget to click the link in the description box. Support the page. I'm out.